Welcome to another episode of Selling Southbay. My name is Aaron Alcides with Alpha Real Estate Group at Keller Williams. And today I'm here with a great gentleman that I had the privilege to meet a few years ago, Michael. Michael's an attorney, and he is actually giving a service of top quality for people with immigration issues or immigration needs. And today we're going to be talking about why he does it, why he does such a great job at it, and we're also going to talk about a great story that he has behind it.
Aaron, thank you very much. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak with you today. As you said so succinctly, I'm an immigration lawyer, which means I help clients with three types of issues. I help people with work visas, if they want to come to the United States to work either temporarily or on a permanent basis. I also help people with green cards, which they get either through work or family, and I also help people with citizenship if they already have their green card or if they were maybe born in another country, to U.S. citizens, and then they come here to the United States. And I've been doing it about 10 years now, always in the South Bay, and I love it. I wouldn't do anything different.
Wonderful. And tell us a little bit about why did you get into law, and specifically this kind of law?
Well, sure. So that's kind of a two-part answer, because becoming an attorney was inspired largely by my father, who's an attorney. He does tax law and tax disputes. And growing up, I watched how he would help people with problems, but I realized, I don't want to do tax law. That requires a certain personality and skill set that I just didn't have. But I knew I wanted to help people in some way. I was inspired. I took a class in college, Cal State Long Beach, class of '06, baby, where it was a class on problems facing society, and I remember thinking somebody should do something about that. And eventually, I was just like, why not me? Why can't I be that somebody? So I went to law school to try to help people, and I dabbled in different areas. I had a brief stint at the DA's office, the Attorney General's office. I did environmental law for a while. I did landlord-tenant law for a while. But everything was calling me back to immigration because in my own personal life, my wife is an immigrant, and we met in college, and in our early 20s, we got married.
Wow.
Because I didn't understand the whole process, how it worked, and when she graduated, she said she had to leave. And I said, well, no, you should just stay. She's like, well, yeah, Visa, and then I said MasterCard, and then she didn't go with it. But eventually, long story short, that was my first exposure to what somebody has to go through when they come to the U.S. and they want to stay here and be here permanently. And so from there, I used my own experience to be able to help other people.
I take it you were successful at keeping her?
Yes, 15 years later, we got 2 kids. I wouldn't trade them for anything in the world. My son Nate is 5. He just started kindergarten. And my daughter Casey is 3.5, going on teenager years, already. And
Man, you have
it's
your hands
great.
full with that, yeah.
I definitely do.
Wow. It is interesting that there's always someone that influences, somebody that actually gets us or helps us find direction.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that your that was that influence to you.
Absolutely.
In reference to law. Yeah, probably a tax law is not as sexy, like you say.
It's not. It's not. But for some reason though, but it's something that he taught me also, where it's just as important to know what you want to do as it is to know what you don't want to do, right? And when you're in a position where you realize, I don't want to do that.
Right.
That sometimes is the hardest thing for people to say.
It was very interesting because my previous life, I was a bank executive for like 25 years.
Oh, wow.
And then I became a realtor, which was the best decision I ever made, by the way.
Yeah.
I was tired for 25 years
Yeah, I bet.
of banking. And I knew exactly what I didn't want to do. And I figured out, because in this case, it was the opposite. My dad actually, used to, on the side, besides his work, used to like go do auctions, buy car. He likes fixing things.
Yeah.
So he would buy cars, fix them, and he wanted me to help him.
Yeah.
And I took an auto mechanics class, and soon enough, I realized I didn't like getting dirty. So I actually went back and started doing banking. And but there's always people along the way that inspire us and actually gets us going. And I'm so pleased that you're helping people the way you do. Tell us a little bit about the different kinds of visas that there is.
Yeah, sure. So I often describe my colleagues hate it when I give this example because they think it's too simplistic or whatever. But I like to think of the U.S. as one big house party, right? You've got, and let's say you have a house party, and you've got people who were invited, and so they come here, right? But then you got people who weren't invited, and there's people who are knocking on the door, and they say, "This is what I have to offer. Can I come and can I stay?" And then you decide whether they can or they can't, you know? But then you've got the people who maybe jumped over the fence and then they killed the bartender, and then, you know, they want to stay, but they can't. You got to kick those people out. But so my specialty is I help people who are knocking on the door and they say, I want to come here either temporarily or permanent, right? And so, you know, in immigration law, temporary can be 10 years, could be 6 months, could be 3 years, 5 years, whatever. But there are many different types of visas and work visas available to people, whether they want to work in academia, the arts, entertainment, business. And then there are ways where somebody, you know, can receive a job offer and the employer helps them through that process. Other times the person can apply on their own. So maybe say through an investment, like, hey, I saved up this money, you know, or like the old stories we would have is I came and I saw the Statue of Liberty with $7 in my pocket, you know, and those are the types of cases where people will say like, hey, what are my options to stay here, you know, and so those different types of work visas are, you know, figuring out which one is right for this person and their situation, versus, you know, do they want to stay here on a more permanent basis, you know, through like if they're what they call an individual of extraordinary ability, entrepreneurs, innovators, people that the immigration law has carved out as, you know, these are professions that are highly motivated, and we want to open the door to these types of individuals to help our economy. It's in the national interest, what have you, you know. And then once people have usually a temporary visa, you know, they'll go. Common one would be a student visa, right? They graduate with a student visa, then they're not a student, so they have to switch. Then my wife, she got married, but not everyone can do that. You know, some people have to go and find a job and then they get a temporary work visa. Then that parlays into a permanent green card after they've been here for a period of time. And then once they have their green card or permanent residence for, say, 5 years, then they can apply for U.S. citizenship. And so my relationship with my clients can be, you know, anywhere from 5 to 10 years, all the way from when, you know, I've had people from when they're a college student all the way to them getting married, to them, you know, swearing in as a citizen.
And that's the beauty. Doing business through relationships, have those relationships. It's at the end end up being friendships, and you know, it's just an excellent way to be able to do what we do because you know when we enjoy it that much, it just doesn't feel as much work. Well, it sounds like it's very complex. So if anybody out there has any need for this kind of service, we're going to put on the video, we're going to put Michael's contact information so you can, you know, have a consultation or give him a call, and he should be able to help. Anything else that you know would like to share with us in reference to? I mean, you sound very passionate about what you do, and it shows. And I think that's like a secret recipe on when we do our work.
Absolutely. Well, you know, you have to find, and to be successful, I think, in really finding your passion and whether you're working for yourself or someone else, you know, it has three components. You have to enjoy it, right? You have to be good at it, and you know, people need to pay you for your service, right? It has to be something people are willing to pay you to do, right? That's what makes you, and treating people with respect, keeping open and honest communication with people at all times. My clients always are very honest, and I'm very honest with them in terms of where things are at, and I think that's why a lot of people like to work with me, because I'm very direct. I don't beat around the bush. I don't like to give a lot of fluff. I like to tell people, you know, here's the situation, but here's why that is, and here's how we can make it better, you know?
You know, and that is, I mean, that is such a great thing. And, you know, you can be firm, you can be direct and still be nice.
Absolutely.
Right. And that's the key, because we have to find a balance into telling people exactly how it is, but saying it in a way that they're just going to take action and not just get mad at you.
Yes,
so
100%.
It's a little a balancing act that has to happen, because otherwise, you know, if you leave it up to them, sometimes people do drag their own process, and we're here to support and help. It's the same thing in my business, and that's why sometimes you just have to say, well, you have to do so, you know, this and that, and by when also just to get it going. Well, you know, it's Actually, I don't think I knew that much.
Yeah.
And we've known each other for a few years, but
Yeah.
this is it's a great way to be able to get what we do out to the community. Just so you know, this blog goes out to all the local businesses in the South Bay, and
Okay,
also
great.
to all the different social media channels.
Yeah.
If anybody out there that has a business or a profession that would like to feature in this blog, please give us a call. Our contact information is on the video. And again, Michael, thank you so much. I
Thank you
truly
so much.
appreciate you, and
Appreciate the opportunity.
good luck. And I mean, keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you very
doing
much.
great.
Hablamos español y portugués.
Well, there you have it. He was keeping that up for the end.
Thank you.
Bye bye.